Very good afternoon to you all, and thanks for joining us for this special event, the PM Roundtable. We welcome you all, and we thank you for joining us on a weekend where we know it's a summer, and most folks have a lot to do out there, and we are really grateful to have you in attendance. My name is Ade Adeyemi. I'm the host and CEO at Olade Consulting. If you're joining us for the first time, Olade Consulting is a workplace transformation agency with specialization in project delivery services, staffing and recruitment, leadership training and coaching, with specialization in technical, professional, and management training. Our mandate for the PM Roundtable is to create a platform where we can share with our professional community, share information, provide networking opportunity, as well as present opportunity for career growth. Our mandate is to raise leaders, and we definitely hope today's webinar will contribute to that agenda. Today's topic is on product and agile leadership. And for folks that are out there, the concept of product and agile leadership goes hand in hand. And when building a product, we implement the product development process using agile methodologies. We've got some great group of panelists on the call today that will be sharing their experience, sharing their knowledge, tips, and best practices when it comes to product and agile leadership. Before we get started into the conversation, we will get to meet the panelists. We get to meet all panelists. They get to introduce themselves, and then followed by a panel discussion where we go take a deep dive into the practices of product and agile leadership. And so, without further ado, I'll introduce our first panelist, Todd Blazer. Welcome, Todd.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Ade. Thanks. It's great to be here. So I'm Todd Berzer. I have led product teams in the US and Canada. I teach product management. I teach product management on Udemy online, and then also at Temple University. And I just released a book, so the 3-Minute Product Manager. So anyway, that's me. I'm happy to be here today.
Excellent. Well, we're excited to have you on the call, Todd, and we're looking forward to learning from you and gaining from your insights.
Great.
Okay. Our next panelist that will be introduced is Abiodun Lewis. Welcome, Abiodun.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm happy to be here, and I have been a global transformation leader. I've done a lot of digital transformation, technology transformation, and business transformation, and worked with many clients across the globe. And I also have worked as a coach, as a trainer, and I've sat on a few boards and co-founded a few organizations myself. And thank you for having me.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much for joining us, Abiodun. We're excited to have you on the call, and we're looking forward to gaining more from you on this call. The next panelist we will be introducing is Naseema Shafil. Welcome, Naseema.
Thank you, Ade. Thanks for having me. Hey, everyone. This is Naseema from Toronto, and I am leading transformation, acting in various roles in public and private transformation organization in various industries, mainly in the financial and telecom. Other than the transformation, I keep my interest in coaching, leadership coaching, training, and I love writing different things. I research and come up with models and other stuff. Sometimes I share in different public speaking setup. And other than that, I love designing. Some people know, some not. So this is all about me. So thanks for having me. Looking forward to the panelist conversation and interaction.
Excellent, excellent. We're really excited to have you on the call, Naseema, and we're looking forward to gaining from you as a coach, as a trainer, as a mentor. There's a lot to gain from you. We're looking forward to that. The next panelist, our final, but last but not the least, is Segun Agbata. Welcome, Segun.
Hello, thank you for having me. My name is Segun, and I currently work in the consumer goods industry, primarily in the beauty industry, and with a passion for skincare. I've always had a passion for product innovation, product development, and bringing concepts through innovation, through research, through experimentation, proof of performance, all the way through commercialization to the consumer. And it's really with this mindset of agile leadership, agile thinking, product management, project management, working with teams collaboration to bring products to life in a way that's usually not expected, but also with a speed and at the right cost and quality.
Excellent.
Being part of this.
Yes, excellent. We're excited to have you on the call. And fun fact, Segun was on the panel discussion with us last year. Around this time last year, we were talking about Agile and innovation. So it's really excited to have you on the call, Segun.
Glad to be back.
Excellent. Okay, well, we will get into this conversation, the concept of Agile methodology, product, how do we go about building unique product? How do you go about ensuring the efficiency in the build of your product? What are some of the best practices? When you think about Agile methodologies, Agile methodology and product, and what are some of the groups involved in your product team, your technology team, your marketing team, the research, market analysis, all that combined together, and also thinking about some of the challenges when it comes to organizations that are used to traditional methodologies. Now, we will get into this conversation. We will exit the presentation mode so we can see everyone's faces. Excellent. Okay, perfect. So we're here to talk about Agile. We're here to talk about Agile leadership, product and Agile leadership. And there's no better way to start by other than going into some of the fundamentals. So, I mean, the round one questions, before we get started, I just want a few housekeeping rules. We do want this session to be very interactive. So please use the chat to comment and make any suggestions you want for the webinar to participate. We want to hear from you. The Q&A section is useful for questions. If you have any questions directed to the panelists, please use the Q&A, and we look forward to hearing from you over the course of the webinar. And we do have a section, some information we'd love to share with you during the course of the webinar. We will be sharing some news, some updates from our team at Olade Consulting. But before we get into all of that, we'll get started with the conversation around the fundamentals of product and Agile leadership. And I'm going to start with you, Todd. Todd, how can integrating Agile methodologies transform traditional product development processes? And what are the potential challenges of this integration?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. So I think a lot of us as product people, we've worked in companies that use more traditional product development efforts, development approaches like stage gates or waterfall approaches. And for many companies, I think this is perfectly appropriate. So if we're working in highly regulated environments like medical or insurance or banking or maybe high investment hardware development, we got to be pretty careful as we develop our products, and techniques like stage gates and waterfall methods. They're pretty careful in product development. They're systematic, and they can be appropriate. However, I'm going to add something here, and that is that I'd say if we are working in one of these companies, we can still infuse some of Agile's best practices into traditional development processes and really make them better. So I'm going to suggest three things here to do. The first one I would suggest is talk directly to real customers and do this continuously. So the best Agile teams are continuously talking to their customers. They're understanding the evolving customer needs and hopes. Companies that run more traditional product development processes sometimes do this, sometimes don't. Sometimes they talk to customers at the beginning of a project, but sometimes don't do it after that. But really what we want to do is we want to direct conversations with customers kind of one-to-one, kind of every week if we can. So And we want to talk to people that are directly talking to people that use our products. So that's the first thing. I think we should talk to directly to our customers. The second thing we need to do is test our product concepts, and this is also continuously. So the best Agile product teams, they talk to the best Agile product teams. They take ideas to their customers. They share concepts, maybe just something simple, a simple slide, a simple idea, and they say, what do you think? Would this help? And they do this continuously throughout the product development cycle. Now, more traditional practices, I mean, sometimes you do this at the beginning of a project, but you don't do it ongoing continuously. But good Agile teams are continuously getting feedback from their customers on their product concepts. And the third thing I'll say that Agile teams do is that they release their products incrementally, rather than waiting for the whole thing to be developed and then releasing it all at once when it's finished. Smaller and sooner is better than bigger and later. We want to get value into the hands of our customers faster, and we want to course correct sooner if we're off track. So I would say those three things, if we're working in more traditional product development environments, those three things, focus on those three things, talk directly to your customers, test your product concepts, and if you can, release your products incrementally. Now, doing all that, I think there's some challenges in doing that. You may run into some obstacles. Some more traditional product company or more traditional companies may, say, why do you want to talk to your customers? Just talk to our sales team. Can't they just tell you what's going on with your customers? They also may not understand that we need to test our product concepts continuously. And then a lot of them will just rebel at this idea of releasing products incrementally. But at least for the first two things, talking directly to your customers and testing your product concepts, I think you should just work through these obstacles. It's just too important. It's just too much of a best practice of Agile teams.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much, Todd. And it's interesting as you're talking about talking to customers and getting customer feedback. One of the profound ways that we have a segment we're going to showcase a product, an in-house product that we're launching, and one of the profound ways that we've learned from the process is by getting feedback from direct customers. And when you're talking about the concept of putting your product to the market, at times the teams or product teams find themselves busy fine-tuning the product versus getting the product out. So, what are your thoughts on that in light of what you just shared?
You're saying that sometimes they find themselves too busy just getting the product out the door and don't have time to do some of this other work?
Well, I'm talking about the fact that when teams and organizations try to fine-tune the product, make it perfect, and without necessarily versus testing the product in market.
Yeah. I mean, it's just important to, it is important to test it. I mean, we want to stay humble as we're going through this process. We want to recognize that we don't always get things right. So we want to keep talking to customers. We want to keep getting feedback on our product ideas and to make sure that we're staying on track.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much, Todd. We will keep talking about this concept. This, is very complex, and it's not a one size fits all. You have different teams, different groups, different organizations practicing this, agile and product principles that help with deriving the best results. So thanks so much, Todd. Again, we're gonna go to you next, Abiodun. And Abiodun, we're talking agile principles here. In what ways do the principles of agile leadership differ from conventional leadership styles, and how do these differences impact the team dynamics and project outcomes?
Thank you very much, Ade. This is definitely a conversation starter. And a lot of organizations, when they are trying to embrace some form of transformation, right? The approach is very key, right? And you've heard of top to bottom, bottom to top approach. And that tells you that leadership is essential in everything, be it traditional, conventional, or even in Agile. And so I have been in this environment for so long. I have had the opportunity of coaching and training leadership executives and taking them through what it means to really run an Agile organization or an Agile engagement. And so in the course of doing this, And also to respond to this question for this panel, I came up with about 5 ways that they differ. So the first one is focus on adaptability, collaborative decision-making, emphasis on continuous improvement, customer-centric mindset, and the last one is the servant leadership. So allow me to expand. So focus on accountability. Agile leaders embrace change and uncertainty, while traditional leaders prefer stability and predictability. This allows Agile teams to respond quickly to shifting priorities and market conditions. So we see the difference there. And the second one is collaborative decision-making. So Agile leaders empower teams to self-organize and make decisions rather than relying on the top-bottom control. This fosters greater engagement and innovation from team members. And I have seen this live with many organizations. The third one is emphasis on continuous improvement. So Agile leadership encourages experimentation, learning from failures, and ongoing refinement of process. Traditional approach tends to be more rigid and resistant to change. You know, this is something everyone knows. The fourth one is customer-centric mindset. Agile leaders prioritize delivering value because they have that understanding, they have that mindset. And so they understand what it means to prioritize delivering value to customers early through frequent feedback, some of what Todd had mentioned, and also iteration, while conventional leadership styles may focus more on internal process and predefined plans. And the last one is the servant leadership, where Agile leadership acts as a facilitator, a coach, a mentor. They remove obstacles from their teams rather than directive leaders, micromanagers, working with teams in silos. This empowers teams to take ownership and increases motivation. Now, the impacts, right? So when there's a presence, every good presence of Agile leadership, these are the type of outcomes you see, the team dynamics, right? The increasing team autonomy and accountability exists, improving flexibility to adapt to changes, enhancing innovation through experimentation, you know, they're allowed to do that. Accelerated delivery of value to customers would happen. And then most of all, boosting employee engagement and satisfaction. That definitely leads to boosting team morales, right? And motivation by the team to enable them to do more. And overall, right, Agile leadership tends to be more effective in a fast-paced, complex environment by fostering collaboration, as I mentioned before, adaptability and continuous improvement. However, traditional approaches may still be suitable for stable and predictable contexts.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. That's a lot to unpack there. Thanks so much, Abiodun. And I really love what you shared around the concept of agile leadership around adaptability, collaboration, and embracing change. I think that part is critical. Obviously, collaboration. People sometimes might worry too much about the daily stand-ups. Why do we need to have a daily order? Well, wait a minute. Daily order doesn't necessarily mean you spend a long time on the call. You can just a 15-minute touch point, 10-minute touch points, and see what are some of the obstacles. How can we get rid of them? And I love the change-driven approach, because when you think about traditional methodologies, traditional waterfall methodology, gone were those days when we have projects where there's so many changes in the project, and you have like this huge change request now, and those change requests often come as a result of missed requirements, or maybe we're going back to requirements that were gathered a year ago, and now we're implementation 1 year later, we're trying to track back what's the origin of this requirement, versus in an agile environment where we can quickly get into order, fine tune the backlog, and you have your product owner working closely with the team, and that's just amazing. Thank you so much again for sharing. We will keep going. We'll keep this conversation going. We do have a couple more questions to go through, and we're going to go to you next, Nasima. Nasima, how important is the role of continuous feedback in agile environments, and what strategies can be employed to ensure it is both constructive and actionable?
Sure. It's a great question, Ade. First of all, why we consider feedback? Because we talk about product used by customer, and we want to make the customer experience better. So when we think from the lens of business agility and, better customer experience, feedback is very, very important. To provide feedback that truly makes a difference, we need to consider the purposefulness, and we should ensure that feedback is intentional, clear, empathic, constructive, and most importantly, respectful. Effective feedback is supposed to be more than just a critic. It should encourage, inspire, and guide improvement. As I said, it's all about customer experience. We want to make it better. The traditional SCARF model that we all know, while addressing social triggers, falls short in purpose-driven feedback. And to address the gap, I propose a firm feedback model, which is more focused, inspiring, respectful, and meaningful. This model ensures feedback is specific, motivating, empathetic, and actionable, fostering a growth mindset and positive impact. Regardless, we are agile or non-agile environment, whatever our mindset is, this feedback will be applicable for anyone. For instance, instead of work praise, a specific and constructive feedback can be more beneficial, and this is the purpose of this firm feedback. Again, feedback, when giving with purpose and care, can be powerful catalyst for growth and development. By adopting this firm model with purposeful feedback, we can transform our critics into constructive guidance that motivate and inspire people. Or even regarding the product, we can make it better and better. So let's strive to give feedback that is not only effective, but also respectful and supportive, helping others to grow in a positive and nurturing environment, because the better us means the better performance and the better thing we can prepare for the customer.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much, Nasima. This is extremely important. I love that you mentioned purposeful, encouraging, inspiring, and I think those are some of the traits you're looking at as an agile leader or even a team, whatever role you're playing on their team. Always try to inspire others, even though we might have differences in opinion in terms of how a product should be built, but then those constructive feedbacks, and we talked about some of these feedbacks can be derived in so many areas. You have those, you have your sprint review, retrospective, how can we improve the way we're doing the work that we're doing, again, continuous improvement as is shared by Todd and Abiodun. Thanks so much, Nasima. I always love this concept for agile leaders. Praise in public, and if you're going to give any sort of negative feedback, do that during one-on-ones. It's really a great approach that inspires the team and facilitate team collaboration and build team spirit. Thanks so much, Nasima. We're going to go to you next, Segun. Segun, our next question here is around the concept of thinking, agile thinking, and breakthrough product innovation. Can you discuss a situation where agile thinking led to a breakthrough in product innovation or significantly altered the project trajectory?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's a loaded question because it's definitely a lot of good examples to maybe crown on a lot of the concepts that have been explained, right? So when I think about agile thinking, agile leadership in my world, being in the product development space, in actual consumer, product skin touch, there's some differences, right, versus when you think about software launches and more in the technology space. But if you are familiar with L'Oreal a little bit, one of the shifts we've made, which has been significant over the last maybe decade, and more recently in the last 3 to 5 years, where you're seeing the fruit of that work, is really around beauty tech, right? It's really how do we merge beauty and tech, but really thinking of ourselves as a technology company first now, that's delivering beauty. And so we've really had to shift our thinking in how even our teams come together. I was just kind of laughing or smiling as Todd was talking about traditional stage gates, because that whole concept is just like out the door. Right now, we're almost working more in a wheel concept versus like this continuous, parallel, get to the end, start over, right? It's this constant revisiting, relooping. And so when I think about some projects that we've had that you may see now in that was being celebrated for in our beauty tech space, some of our more recent launches, without going into a lot of details, but a lot of them have required this shift in thinking, like, how do we collaborate better? How do we build this culture of collaboration? How do we leverage data? We have so much data that we just were, most times you look at it in a silo, but now we're allowing that data to kind of look at itself and give us feedback. We're really thinking about the consumer and the customer. And so one of the things we've always done, right, which has kind of been traditional, but yet still, I think, unconventional in its own unique way, is having focus groups. But now we're bringing focus groups in person, that continuous engagement. Because of the tools available to us, right, through technology, we're able to meet with these focus groups, not just one time, but kind of have an ongoing journey throughout the whole process. And this helps us to adapt, adjust as we get feedback on ergonomics, as we get feedback on use, as we get feedback on texture, on the product, the performance. We're able to immediately pass that knowledge back through to our manufacturing engineering teams, and then they're able to adjust as best as they can. But to the point that I think somebody else touched on about perfection, right? We know we're not going to get the perfect product because a lot of times you still have to get it into more hands to then figure out, is this a preference or is this a value? And so we're able to get that feedback through reviews, through product reviews, and adjust at the next launch. So in our world, right, it's not like a software update, right? Usually you're going to launch something that's supposed to be better, offer you more, better efficacy in terms of results. So it's not like just you had this shampoo that made your hair a little softer yesterday. Now we're going to launch one that, we can make it just a little bit, we're going to launch something that's going to make it softer and look more, maybe more shiny, or, give its color more brilliant. So we're going to apply all of those learnings, or check some of the feedback from reviews in how we design the next packaging, how we design the next use case, how we design, for the next age group of like handling ergonomics or holding the bottle or pumping in the bathroom and the shower, safety. So again, without getting to very specific launches, that's kind of how we bring it to life, right? And that's what I love about this process. It's continuous. Teams are engaged. Anybody and everybody on the project team can ask an unusual question, right? Traditionally, everybody expected marketing to give you perspective on the consumer, but now our engineers are also going out to the stores, or they're getting the download of the reviews, and they're able to also go like, hey, I saw this feedback in the review. It may not have mattered to anybody else, but actually we can improve that. We can improve how the pump action happens on a bottle and things like that. And we give that feedback to our suppliers. So that makes it so exciting, to be honest with you, being in our world now, because bringing real life engagement on a continuous basis and leveraging a lot of data is able to actually help refine the product, but not necessarily perfect it at the first submission or first release. But now you know what you can work on as you get feedback on each release.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much, Egno. I love that concept of leveraging data and technology, especially in today's world when you talk about the kind of technologies, AI and all this artificial intelligence, and how it's changing the world. One thing that stuck out to me is how do you build this culture of collaboration? I think is really important, because when you're thinking about it's a huge change management process when it comes to changing the mindset, and it starts with the mindset, because every member of the team, and everyone's got to be bought into the concept of collaboration and ensuring that we're also promoting this cross-functional team collaboration. You talk about your engineers also not just relying on marketing to do the research, but we're also getting everyone involved in the process. And this is something that we find very interesting, because when we're talking about building a product, we looking at the collaboration between marketing, technology, product, and everyone needs to be talking to each other so that we are in sync in terms of the product vision and what we're looking to achieve. Now, I'll tell a quick story. We a couple of years ago, I think post-COVID, we started having our team started growing beyond the Canadian borders. So we started having teams in different places. People started working from home. The concept of work from home was new to us. And one of the things that we did was we started to build up a product, an in-house product, to help with our team collaboration. It's a productivity product designed for project teams to collaborate. And we started to build this product as a time tracking system. but eventually it turned out into a different type of product where there's project management, there's team tracking, team collaboration. Today, we are launching this product and we'd like to showcase this product to the team, to the audience. We're launching this product and we'd just like to showcase a little snippet of this product. And this comes with the concept of where do product ideas come from. In our case, we were just trying to solve a problem internally. And then we realized that, hey, by the way, we might make this a commercial product. And some of the things that were lessons learned during the process is that building the product in-house is different from building a commercial product. You need to start thinking about marketing, go to market. And we built this product and we're like, oh, we're going to put this product to market. And we're like, okay, what's the subscription model? We had no clue what the subscription model. We had to figure that out. And then we had to figure out some other things during the process. And we've been able to onboard some clients on the application. Those clients, just like has been mentioned, are giving us some of the great features that we've added recently came directly from the clients because they were really features that solved their pain points and things that they wanted to do. So we will share a quick video. Just going to quickly share my screen now. We're going to watch a quick video about the product, and yeah, and then we'll take it from there. I think I need to get the audio. Okay.
Are you in need for a tool that seamlessly tracks projects and manages your team? Introducing Timba, your unified productivity solution. It seamlessly integrates time tracking, project management, HR management, client onboarding, payment partner integration, shift management, and leave management, all under one roof. Picture a solution that not only meets but exceeds your desire for transparency in budget management, but also provides unwavering visibility into project timelines and offers a real-time understanding of team collaboration, no matter where in the world your team is located. Adaptable, intuitive, and customized for every role, Timba empowers individuals and enterprises alike. Seize command of your business narrative. Sign up now to start using Timba for free today.
I can't keep track of all these projects. There's just too much to manage.
Tell me about it. Deadlines are slipping through the cracks, and I can't remember who's working on what.
It sounds like you need some help managing your projects.
Can you show us how Timba's project management feature can help?
Of course. With Timba's project management, you can organize all your tasks in one place. You can assign tasks, set deadlines, and track progress easily. You'll have a clear overview of all your projects, know exactly who's working on what, and never miss a deadline again. Track hours, budgets, and collaborate seamlessly even when working remotely.
This is amazing. I can finally see everything at a glance.
This is going to save us so much time.
Hi, Sam.
Hi, Sarah. Oh, you're not at your desk?
No, I booked today off, remember? We discussed it in email.
Oh, I must have forgotten to note it down. I'm trying to find our emails.
Don't bother. Let me show you how Timba fixes all your problems with its leave management feature.
What's Timba?
Funny you asked. Timba helps you keep track of your working hours and book off days so you always know where you stand. Managers can easily view team schedules, approve leave requests, and monitor productivity, all from one intuitive dashboard. Stay productive, stay organized, and take that well-deserved break.
Now I can enjoy my day off with ease.
Well, thanks for watching. We really appreciate that.
That's great.
I just want to give a shout out to our marketing team for putting together that video. Erin, one of our interns that came on board, created the animations, and our lead marketing team, our marketing lead, Clement, created the initial video. Again, this is talking about product. We figured that it would be a great opportunity to talk about this product and share the information with our community. And we're really grateful for the work that the team has been able to do. We've been able to learn along the way in when building this product, and we continue to learn and innovate as we move on. So on that note, we're going to move on to the next round of questions. The next round of questions is focused on advanced strategies in product management and agile practices. So we're going to start with you first, Abiodun. Abiodun, question, could you discuss a particularly challenging agile project and the advanced technologies that not only resolved the issue, but also led to unexpected improvements?
All right. Thank you again, Adi. Thank you, everyone. Kudos and a big congratulations to you and your team. That's amazing. Being in this sphere of work, you can really appreciate it when people come up with products like this. So I'm going to be trying out your product for sure and recommending it to teams for sure.
Thank you.
All right. So getting into it. So there was one particular challenging agile transformation that I was involved in, and this had to do with developing a very complex enterprise software solution. And within that, there was a lot of rapid changing requirements. And then also the teams were distributed geographically. And then and also working with the third part was working with different time zones. And so we faced many critical issues, as you can imagine. And so one big issue was the constantly shifting priorities and scope creep caused by delays, and this caused delays and a lot of frustration. So these are typical problems, in the nature of what I described in this particular project. Then the distributed nature of the team also led to communication gaps and misaligned goals, and and then the quality was being compromised due to the emphasis on speed and changes. And you can imagine when you're working with developers, you're saying quality, but then you're also saying speed. It's like an oxymoron. So they're going to make you choose, right? So do you want it really good or do you want it fast, right? And then so to address these challenges, I actually coached the team on several advanced agile techniques. And one of it was they adopted a data-driven approach for estimation, analyzing historical project data to create more accurate time and effort estimates. This helped to manage expectations and reduce delays. I'm making this sound very easy, but when it comes to estimation, working with a coach and a team, it's a nightmare. Some people are stuck in, can we just track our time, the hours we spent? And some people are like, I want to be able to measure the value of what is completed versus what hasn't been. So you understand the struggle. And then I also coached the team to invest heavily in real-time collaboration tools. For example, Timba would have been one of those recommendations, right? And establish clear communication protocols for the distributed team. So we had housekeeping rules for that. And then they also implemented daily virtual stand-ups and regular video conferencing to maintain alignment. And I know everyone has went through COVID, and thank God we're all alive. And even pro-COVID, I was always like, pre-COVID, I was always emphasizing on the being able to collaborate and work anywhere, deliver value, even if you're working from the moon. And so all of this was what I was teaching. And it's good and interesting to know that organizations now are investing in infrastructure to enable that. Well, before this, I had worked with a lot of distributed teams, and I'm like, turn on the video, right? Turn it on. Someone is in Glasgow, another person is in Tokyo, and that allows for it's called remote agile. There's actually a framework for that allows for that in-person feel, whereby people feel that, okay, I can interact, I can communicate, because honestly, not being able to see someone is different from talking virtually. So there are two different things. So when you incorporate the whole video experience, right, people have different outcomes. And so I also helped the team maintain a quality standard. I talked about that earlier. And so I coached the team to understand how they would prioritize automated testing and continuous integration and in alignment with delivery practices. So this includes regular code reviews, and implementing automated test suites that would actually run each code change. So that's always very big in development. Understanding how large this enterprise project was. And then another thing, I coached them into introducing frequent and focused retrospectives continuously. So those retrospectives were mainly the outcome of those was to focus on improving their process, right? So these sessions resulted in actionable insights that were immediately implemented. So it was targeted. And lastly, I helped the team understand this mindset, adopt a mindset of shift-left testing approach. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. And integrating testers into development processes from the earliest stage. So this helps catch issues early and improve overall quality. So the unexpectedly, all of this techniques that I introduced led to several improvements, right? So the data-driven estimation approach not only improved project predictability, but also helped identify patterns, which is always what a team should look out for in feature complexity and leading to more efficient resource allocation. And then it also enhanced collaboration tools and practices. So, forming the habits, right? And the practice was that a stronger team culture, improving morale and productivity through even across the different time zones. Now I'm making this sound easy now because I'm telling a story, but it was the pain points, like herding carts, trying to go through each of this. Now, the other thing was the focus of automating. They focused on automating testing and quality assurance, actually increased development speed in the long run, because now they got into that automation process. It became, like a second skin, and fewer bugs were introduced and less time was spent on manual testing and bug fixes. And then lastly was the regular retrospectives that I implemented allowed definitely for that continuous improvement process, and then the mindset spread across project teams and influencing other departments to adapt similar practices. So by embracing these advanced agile techniques as a coach, which I introduced to this project, the teams were not only able to overcome their initial challenge, but they were able to achieve, what you might call it, a higher level of efficiency, focusing on quality and also, exceeding their own expectations.
Amazing, amazing. Well, thank you so much, Abiodun. There's a lot to unpack there. When I started in automated testing, it sounds pretty simple, but the concept of bug fixes, drives people nuts. I mean, we're talking to development, we're going back and forth, and we're saying, hey, there's a glitch, and continuous integration. And you have an existing product, there's a new feature that's being brought into the system, and now some of the previously functioning features stop working. How do we mitigate against that? It's really important. This is some very, very, very complex conversations here. I love the data-driven approach to estimation, because one of the biggest challenges, or when I talk to Agile professionals, one of the biggest challenges they have is they ask the question, how do I know the team is giving me the right estimate? Development says it's going to take 3 weeks to build this piece of work. I don't know how complex. How do I figure out the complexity? Just having that approach, a standardized approach that can be used on a consistent basis, allows for that transparency, allows for that trust is really important within teams. Yeah, thank you so much. Again, there's a lot to unpack there. Thank you so much for sharing, Abiodun. We want to hear from you. Please use the Q&A. We will go through some questions in the Q&A. Please use the Q&A. If you have any questions, you can throw any questions to this panelist. We're grateful to have them on the call, and we just have a short period of time left, so let's milk it. Our next question is going to you, Naseema. Naseema, reflecting on your experiences, can you describe a situation where cross-functional collaborations was critical? What advanced strategies did you employ to enhance synergy and drive success in your projects?
Sure. It is always critical, right? So certainly, in a large-scale digital transformation initiative, our goal was to integrate a new customer relationship management the system across multiple departments within the organization. That initiative gonna involve teams from IT, sales, marketing, customer service, finance, each with their own priorities and requirements. So it is really critical. And early on, it became clear that different departments had varying expectations and interpretation of how the CRM system should function and integrate with their existing process. This divergence could have led a significant delay and misunderstanding if that were not addressed proactively. So the key is collaboration, diversification, proactiveness, and alignment. Alignment is leadership, always alignment in the product development team. To mitigate this challenge, despite initial challenges with differing expectations, we fostered alignment through workshop, planning session. Then we emphasize collaboration and increase the transparency. We all focus, we all know what we are going to do. And that sounds like simple, but that was another critical thing to increase the transparency. And this approach not only streamlined the implementation, but also cultivated a culture of collective ownership. We cannot tell you do this, this is my thing, but we have a trusted environment and culture where everyone or every department will take the ownership of their own. And which was critical for achieving our project goal effectively in this complex business environment, but we achieved that.
Well, thanks so much, Naseema. And it's interesting as you talked about the culture of collective ownership. And it's a long time ago, when I was working in the bank, and when we talk about the concept of working with different groups, and we'll talk about cross-functional teams, and gone are the days where business looks at technology as the bad guys. It's a partnership. It's a partnership. The different groups are working together. We're talking about product team, marketing, design, your product design team, your project team, and there's the business. It's a partnership. And once we come up with, and again, the shift in mindset, once we have that mindset that, well, it's a partnership, we're in this together, we're working collaboratively to achieve this organizational vision and objective, that changes everything. And in the concept of cross-functional team collaboration also fosters growth, also fosters education. People get to expand their knowledge and skill set. Really, really important conversation there. Thanks so much, Naseema. We will go to you next, Segun. A question for you, talk about unconventional product management strategy. What is conventional? What is unconventional? In your experience, what unconventional product management strategy dramatically shifted the trajectory of a product success? And why do you think it had such an impact?
So that's another good question, and I'm gonna just I think Todd had touched on some of this conventional versus unconventional, right, with the examples he gave, and so it really is connected, and you even just built that bridge, right? A lot of times the reason why we get stuck in conventional versus unconventional are people, right? Do people believe in what change we're looking to implement through agile thinking or in product management? And so there are quite a few, right? But I'm going to just maybe narrow down a little bit on two that really I touched on earlier, which is around really that constant feedback loop, right? Of engaging with the customer or the consumer in our case, because there's the elements that the customer plays a role for us, but it's even bringing in the consumer and understanding what does that, how can we get closer to the consumer? And it touches just beyond product quality or even product experience. It's really product performance. It's how are they using the product from a sustainable, standpoint, right, when we think about the environment. And so all of this informs how we design. And now that data that we have such a rich trove of, right, we're able to sift it and identify or narrow down then how we experiment. And so I'm going to really end on experimentation for us. We went from this idea of proof of concept, which always still feels a little theoretical, to really proof of performance, but doing it with speed, right? And so it's really taking a sort of lower risk approach to getting the product into a performance state that's, regulated, especially talked about regulation, right? Regulation a lot of times forces us into this box. But how do we stay in the regulation box, but still test and learn quickly? And so we really went into this shift of proof of performance. And it seems so obvious when you say it, but a lot of times people have been stuck in this proof of, oh, the concept makes sense, so go try it, right? But then you've invested all of this funds and resources and time and energy, and then you're either forced to launch it as is because there's so much capital that's gone in, or there's a lot of fear of failure, so you kind of are stuck in this place where then you lose time. And so what we're able to do through proof of performance is that we're able to partner within a controlled environment, but still quickly bring to market or bring to test in a larger group of users, experiment these products and get real-time feedback that we can either tweak, or it's a little less of a shift to get to market in terms of full manufacturing scale up. So that's really helped optimize some of our processes, some of how we bring product, the time it takes to bring product from concept, testing, and on shelf, as well as, right, the performance that we then get in terms of reviews and feedback from the consumer. So that's been a success story in some of our more recent launches, especially, and I'll just finish on this note, when we go into new categories. And I think it's applicable regardless of the product, right? When you're going into an unknown territory where you're a little bit nervous about the regulation, right? It's a good way to quickly test some of this, concepts, but actually find partnerships where you can develop in collaboration with the right mindset, right people, to really put it to market sooner with the consumer, and then you can iterate by the time you go full launch.
Amazing. I'm taking notes, folks. I don't know about you. I'm taking notes. I'm learning. We're trying to launch a product, and we're trying to learn from folks from L'Oreal, in terms of the strategies they're employing. Really, really amazing. I love the concept of the low risk approach to a product launch. How do you soft launch it? How do you, those proof of concept, how do we bring those in? Excellent. Thanks so much, Segun. We're going to go next to you, Todd, and we will take questions from the audience after this one. But before we do, we just want to hear from Todd. Todd, when we talk about the rapid agile deliverables, long-term product success, how do we achieve all of that without compromising vision and quality? So how do you align rapid agile deliverables with a product's long-term strategic goals without compromising the vision or quality?
It's a great question. I mean, essentially, we're thinking about how do we link agile with strategy, right? Are the two linked? Are they separate? How do the two work together to kind of create something big, create something with great quality? I'm going to say two things. So first of all, I don't think agile without strategy really doesn't work. Okay, and I'll say the opposite as well. That strategy without agile doesn't really. Okay, I'm going to talk about both of those. Okay, so let's talk about the first. So, in companies with great agile product development, we often see empowered teams. They're iterating, they're evolving their concepts, they're improving their product. These teams are often lean, they're flexible, they're data driven. We were talking about that. They're responding to what works in the market. So, and each team is focused often, in these great teams, they're focused on moving some key metrics, maybe around engagement scores or customer retention rates or whatever it is. So the best agile teams that I know look like this. But if we were managing a team like that, we could ask the question: are we done? Did we do our work? Is that good enough? And I would say no to that question. No, that's not good enough. It's great, but it's not good enough. Agile teams, when they're working well, they often bring us to an excellent, well-refined product. But I kind of think that is a local maximum. Okay, this approach may miss new, innovative ways to approach the market. Segun, you were talking about some of this with some of your work at L'Oreal. You may miss some new, promising opportunities. So if we really want to find a global maximum, not just a local maximum, we need strategy. Okay, we need to think more broadly than just refining our products that we have today. So that's the first thing I'd say. And I'd also say conversely that strategy without agile, I don't think really works either. So So if you think about how we develop a strategy, we think about our product vision, our product objectives. We look at all those insights we're getting from the market, market, customers, competitive insights, what's happening with technology, what's happening with regulations. We think about all of that, and then we think about what's our best strategic options. But if we just take those options, if we just run with them, say, let's decide on those, we like them, that we prioritize them, let's act on these, I think we often fail. Okay, so we still need a stage where we experiment and refine our strategic options. And, our best ideas, all of us, they often fail in the market. We need that stage where we test and refine our ideas. And that's where Agile approaches just excel. Okay, and this is where Agile guides us to. So, I think at the heart of Agile, it's really kind of a structured humility. So, it's a structured way for us to recognize that our ideas may not work in the market, and we've got to test them and refine them. Shagun, I loved your idea of a proof of concept moving to a proof of performance. I think that's what we need to do with our products, but it's also what we need to do with our strategic options. So back to my original point, I think Agile without strategy really doesn't work, but also strategy without Agile doesn't really work. But together they work exceptionally well.
Awesome. Excellent. Well, thanks so much, Todd. Agile without strategy doesn't work. Strategy without Agile doesn't work. There's a lot to unpack here. Thanks so much, Todd. Really appreciate your insights. We will take some questions from the participants. We have one question here from Tobe Uneji. And the question is, how can we apply Agile ways of working through the stages of product development, particularly the go-to-market planning and implementation? I think the go-to-market is extremely important. I'm going to throw this to everyone, anyone that feels that wants to take it up. We're talking about Agile practices to product development, especially when you're talking about the go-to-market planning and implementation. Do we have any takers?
So I can jump on that one real quick because you did mention go-to-market. And I think one of the things early in my product development career, one of the projects I happened to work on, because we're having this disconnect or gap between getting the product ready and then that go-to-market performance. So let me never call it go-to-market, really in-market performance, right, for the launch. And so we had to figure out why were we having these products that were ready to go, great innovations, and then at each global, and this is when you think about from a global standpoint, like at each local market, the adaptation or the execution always seemed to either some markets did really well and some markets like just fell flat. And we couldn't figure out what it was. And so I was put on the task force to kind of look at the whole process from a 360 standpoint of the commercialization process, right? So from concept through commercialization. And so we did a lot of market visits and really try to understand what were the success stories, why, and what were the challenges and why were those challenges happening. And I would say one of the biggest things that kind of came out, which I think is actually at the core of Agile leadership, is collaboration, coordination, and communication, right? And when you can keep those three things in the forefront, right, where you're constantly collaborating, markets, functions, teams are engaging, they're aware, there's that transparency that we've talked about, right? Within how you operate as an organization, regardless of whether you're local or global, like Todd was referencing, if you're keeping the sort of the communication lines clear, you're collaborating on these projects and you're getting feedback even from the markets, and they're aware of what you're trying to bring to market, not just at a global scale, but how they adapted locally. And then you coordinate how all of those elements are working and coming together. You're able to find, you're going to find that the risk of the ball being dropped as things happen, right, is a lot less. And you also get really rich feedback on what worked and what didn't work the last time, not just from your immediate market right in front of you, your biggest, voice in terms of the largest market, again, if I'm thinking at a global scale, but you hear from everybody and you're able to input some of that feedback to how you develop the next time and how you even communicate faster the next time. But also everybody's aware of any shifts in your innovation timeline where they can either leverage it or they can adjust with their customers or the consumers. So it's really like holistic way of thinking about your resources, what's going in, and how do you maximize that investment to get the the best return on investment. So hopefully that helps. But it's really, I would say it's the 3 C's of the Agile leadership, right? Of collaboration, coordination, communication when you start thinking about how you go to market.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much, Shagun. I'm not sure if anyone wants to add to that. But I totally 100% agree. It's around the collaboration pieces. You have the marketing team, you have the product team, and you're also conducting, what's our go-to-market strategy? What are some of the marketing channels? How do we go about the launch? What sort of launch events do we need to put in mind? But from an Agile perspective, for a fact, from a product standpoint, we know what features we're going to market with. And it goes back to the vision. There's the alignment, there's a team collaboration and alignment in terms of the vision of the organization and what we're trying to achieve for the product launch. Multiple stages. It's a very interesting conversation. We'll take another question from the audience. And this question here is around product feedback. And question, given that Agile and product management calls for ongoing feedback from customers and continuous improvement, how do you stop the project from going on forever? This is interesting because it's constant feedback. And when do we put a stop? When do we know when to go to market with a product? I'm not sure anyone wants to take this one.
I can jump in.
I can make. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Todd.
No, you first. You go.
So when we'll stop? If there is no budget, we have to stop anyway. This is number one thing. And however, first of all, add innovation, add AI, and make sure how the customer will feel about the product. How we get the ultimate satisfaction when they're using the product. So when customer reach, okay, this is what I want, then they will not give you negative feedback anymore. And we can stop for a while. However, enhancement is coming, right? Like all the top-notch telecom product or any kind of good product that we are using, we make the enhancement after a couple of intervals. That is something that we'd like to do. We cannot stop doing that one. However, for particular product launch, it is very important. Think about the customer first. Incorporate AI. Do not hesitate to incorporate innovation and get ready for the first big fail. One first big fail will give you lots of feedback. The next one will be ultimately a good one. So that's supposed not to be demotivating thing. That's supposed not to stop you to move forward. But sometimes little move back to go a very big jump. So these are the strategy.
Amazing. Thanks, Naseema. Todd?
And yeah, I was just going to make, this is a great comment, Naseema. I was just going to make the comment that in many cases, our products are never done. So we always want continuous feedback. We always want to make our products better. We don't want to get caught, however, into the loop of, always incorporating the feedback and never actually releasing something. So we need to be fast about releases. We need to get stuff out on the market. We need to get feedback on that. But I just think that's our world. We're going to continue to improve those products. Like Timba, you're going to get it out on the market and you're going to continue to work it, right? It's going to be great. You're going to get some great feedback.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Todd. And it's interesting and it's really important to distinguish between building a product, and that requires ongoing development and integration versus a project. And when someone says it's a never-ending project, we could have a project that's to build a website and we have start and end it. Boom. But when we're talking about product, often products, like you look at the great products out there currently, they keep adding new features. They have a product team, but there's a strategic goal behind what is being released. And they have a focus, they have a product roadmap that showcases that now, maybe perhaps what you might call a project might be a key feature that's being released into the main product. That could be, time box and say, well, you know what, we have these features we're rolling out. This project team is responsible for rolling out this feature. That's a project. But the concept of product, product building product there's always going to be continuous features on, especially if it's a product that's again, it also has to align with organizational goals and strategy. If it's a product that you're looking to constantly improve and build upon, so it's kind of a floating paradox here. I'll go next to the next one. We're going to go to the next round of questions. And next round of questions, we're going to be focusing on personal insights, experiences, and key takeaways. And we're going to start with you first, Segun. Now, in looking back, perhaps in your amazing career, what single experience do you believe was most instrumental in shaping your approach to leadership in product management and agile environments?
Wow, you're making it really easy, huh? It's just one. You know, to be the first thing for me, what really drew me to this space was the love for working on something that can impact people. And so that's really informed my approach of servant leadership, of really thinking about that. Somebody talked about partnership. I mean, really informed, one, my desire to learn, roll up my sleeves, get into the details, but slowly, right, as I evolved in my career, and you know, I don't know what the spectrum of attendees are, but as I evolved in my career, right, I built a strong foundation to help me have to get into less of the details and trust, you know, the people in the details, appreciate the value they bring, and then be able to leverage their best strengths and from all the different functions to deliver the best product, right? So leveraging the different synergies of expertise and respecting that expertise, right? Even if it's something I've done before, I still respect that expertise. I trust that expert in the room to be the best person, and then I may coach them and help them refine based on what they've done. But that's been sort of my passion in being able to be a leader in this space of being able to hear different voices, different perspectives, different functional expertise, and helping everybody kind of understand what they're bringing to the table and refine it such that we really deliver the best product we can in that moment with the given, you know, resources or expertise we have, and knowing that there's room to improve, you know, and optimize at the next round. So I'll pause there just for the sake of time, but there's a lot more we can go into, but that's been my passion, of like really just bringing teams together, helping them to fine tune their expertise and capabilities, but having built that expertise myself, I'm able to appreciate them even better.
Yeah, amazing. And that's kind of a vision of a mentor, because I find that the most effective leaders often carry other people along, and it's always something, as a practice that we do on our teams, weekly meetings, or we go to a roundtable. You know, it's just very intentional. It's very important to be intentional about that approach, especially today when everyone's working virtually, and sometimes there might be people that they're not necessarily speaking on the call. How do we get everyone's input, contribution? Do we get feedback? Hey, you know, hey Shego, oh Hadi, what are your thoughts? We've been talking, maybe there's a few people talking about some ideas. How do we get everyone's, you know, it's part of that inclusivity, and also again, being humble with the whole process as well, because we don't know it all. We need the strength of the team. We need to tap into the knowledge and wisdom of the entire team. Thanks so much, Segun. We will go next to the next question is for you, Naseema. Naseema, could you share a critical turning point in your career? And how did that influence your professional decisions and development?
Already, I had multiple critical points. So every time you feel like the end of the life, but it is not. Let's tell it, because we have not much time. So I'm giving you one thing. When I quit from my FTA role, it was a great role. If I would be there, I don't know what would be my rank now. However, at that point, I feel like I'll quit. And I started my own consulting firm. Initially, it was a struggle. And then I take my professional and my development activities, how we can make it better. First of all, I was focused. I had my vision. I was not fearful of failure, because first there was a failure, of course. And I was not, I had a patience, loss of patience. So let's see what happened. So that was a turning point, and now I am never out of work. I'm never fearful. I can be fired or not. I will be quitting or not. I'm never out of work. And also the mindset I create in my development, I'm never perfect and nobody can be, and there is always room to grow. I do not go by the trend that what certification going on, what is like market demand. Rather, I look at me and think what make me more curious of learning something new. When an organization came up with a new Agile scale certification, rather than having that one in my resume, I feel like, let's see what they're saying. And when you have multiple things in your toolbox, it gives us the ability to create our own, more tailoring, more customized effect. And that is required for the client. Also, I am very happy for the people who can stay with one organization for a long time. But when we consultant, we just hopping from one to another. Our life is full of experiences. And later, when we go to any organization, right away, we can tell what's the problem happening here. Because we have a different lens that we acquire. All consultants, most of them who are very connected to their client, they can tell. And again, the critical turning point, yes, from FD to self-employed, that was a big decision, and I'm happy about that. We are entrepreneur now, and not only settle with one thing. It doesn't mean that I'm doing this one and this is the end of my life. I would love to explore multiple things. I love explore coaching. When I was helping, okay, started with a Scrum Master. That is not everything. Then become an Agile coach. Then we realize, oh my goodness, coaching is very important knowledge to have, even though my job is not demanded for me at that time, but that's something I acquire. That how that coaching, conversation, experience or skill can make you a catalyst leader and influence how we influence people. It's not about title, it's not about the role we are having, it's about how we can be make ourselves impactful and deliver valuable result for the client and the product. And if we connect ourselves with the human to human rather than thinking the monetary, thinking like a status, the whole dynamic whole situation get changed. So development process, it will going on. My last transformation mastery, the last whole year I invested myself, it truly transformed me. If my coach is listening this one, I'm sure he'll be proud of me, and they will be. There is two coaches, they will be proud of me and the people, because I listen to them. I not only listen to my coaches, also the participants were there, and keep going. And learning is like ongoing process. It's not about hierarchy kind of thing. It's not about junior, senior. Every moment, every aspect, we are open to learn something new. And I am open to change myself. It's not like dramatic change, like one little step at a time. So this kind of being flexible, being easygoing, have patience, let go, it's okay not to judge. So many things. How can I tell? My another leadership coach that I work with, that was all about soft skill. It never helped me to get any great job or anything. However, that helped me to make a better person. How I interacting with other person, how I acknowledging someone's else perspective, which is completely opposite to me. Keeping myself judgment free is a lot. I don't know where I'll be after 10 years, but I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I'm enjoying the journey of my life.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much, Nasima. And this is truly profound, and we're really appreciative of the thoughtfulness of sharing your personal story and with us here. And it's really it might be simplified on over a webinar. The decision to go move from FTE to being a consultant, and those are sacrifices that we make. And when we get out of our comfort zone, we discover, and during that discovery gives us we build resilience, and we're able to be confident. And I always tell people, some of our folks in our program, I talk about, when you go out there, show up as an expert consultant, and experts always show up in that format. I'll let you comment, Nasima.
One more thing. Now, when we are consultant, if we ever want to get back to an organization as a FTE, will be like more profound FTE with
Absolutely.
like vast of knowledge. So we need sometimes, these, experiences, this diversification of learnings to give any organization or any big client for longer project to the most valuable, impactful delivery of work.
Amazing, amazing. And that's also very true, because when you're moving from one organization to another, you get to navigate, you get to figure things out, you get to work with new people. It's not going to be a one size fits all. You get into an environment where they're not structured, you get into an environment where things are structured, and you're just going to have to figure things out, navigate, and that's the makeup of an expert. Thank you so much, Nasima. We really appreciate it. We will go to the next person. I will go to you next, Abiodun. Question for you is, can you describe an instance where a failure or significant challenge turned into a valuable learning opportunity? What was the key takeaway?
All right, thank you again, Ade. It's been interesting hearing personal stories at this point. And I was going through my head even before now, even up to now, trying to figure out which ones, because there has been many, many of those, and I guess that's part of the success story. And honestly, I remember one. It was one of my financial clients. I was in another country. I wasn't in Canada, and basically working with this client, definitely you don't start up to fail, right? But certain things elements led to failure. And this is a very personal story for me, in the sense that I did everything I knew. I applied all the principles, like everything about strategy, leadership, management. So it was an engagement whereby we had to help an organization, myself and my team, to go through an adoption, a transformation of some sorts, and also some other internal processes to be modified, improved upon. And we started off well on a good note, and I pointed out some issues. For example, a key stakeholder was very absent, from the onset, and I made a lot of noise about this, and they were like, "Oh, it's okay as long as there's a rep who would always be providing feedback." So that would always be that person who would provide feedback to this key stakeholder, so we don't need to worry. And so we went on our good behavior, doing the best we can, dotting the I's, crossing the T's, and dotting all the J's. But somehow this fear of mine came to light. This key stakeholder made a big, issue about the fact that, I haven't been around. And so I'm not taking accountability, and I'm not going to be responsible for certain decisions that had been made on my behalf. And it was alarming, because I'm like, so who's telling a lie here, right? So, and then we go into this board meeting, and we're having these conversations, and it just blew up in my face, and I should have known better. I should have done better. I should have put my foot down. I should have insisted. But somehow, I didn't. I just played along, and that cost a lot. It cost a lot. My team lost out. I lost out, and I think it was a loss for everyone. And it was a big, big lesson. And I have used that to, it has shaped me definitely. And in my continuous, working with different clients and my team, you would see that, we hear so many things. I experienced JPOS and all those kind of things. It did definitely this one. And so there are certain things I would not do. I would always remember that whole scenario and how it played out and what I could have done differently. And so I apply that, moving forward in any of my interactions, even in my household, personal stuff with friends, family, because, it really shook me, like it shook my foundation. And, just when you should have done better. And for some reason, you just didn't go with your gut feeling. So yeah, that was mine.
Well, oh, thanks for sharing that, Biodun. Again, this is really moving to hear these personal stories, and it's interesting. It's not always going to be flash in the pan. It's not always going to be smooth, and there'll be times when we go through struggles. But the beauty of the struggle is that it makes us better, and it shapes our foundation. And I love how you're able to connect the professional and the personal lessons learned, which is really critical. Thank you so much, Biodun. We're gonna go next to you, Todd. Todd, from your experiences, what key piece of advice would you give to someone aiming to excel in Agile or product leadership?
Yeah, I would think from my perspective, if we want to be excellent product leaders, we want to be excellent Agile leaders, I think we need to do three things and three things well. So I'm going to talk about three things. So first of all, I think we need to delight our customers with innovation. So I don't think our executives always expect this from product leaders, but we've got the tools to do it. All these tools we've been talking about throughout this session. We can talk to our customers. We can really understand their problems, opportunities. We can work with our engineering teams to figure out how to answer those opportunities. We can go out and test our markets or test our concepts. We can refine them. All of that leads to innovation. So that would be the first thing I would go ahead and kind of aim high there and kind of aim not just for the next product, but actually the next innovation. The second thing I would say is that we need to support our marketing, sales, and customer success teams to help them find market success. And we talked a little bit about this. We talked about the kind of culture of collective ownership. We also talked about kind of applying Agile thinking to go-to-market practices. But I think what we want to, I think this is a critical part of our work as product leaders to help make those outbound teams successful. Help make our products successful, help make our companies successful. All right, so the third thing I would say is that, we want to drive growth, we want to drive competitive advantage, we want to drive profitability, and that really requires us really thinking about our product strategy. So if I'm advising product leaders, I say, make sure you step into product strategy. A lot of product leaders kind of gloss over that, but don't. Go ahead and step into that one. The last thing I'll say, just stepping back a little bit, is I think as product professionals, we are gifted with great jobs. We can step into these roles and we can go big. We can have an impact. So, and I think it's all these processes, these Agile development processes that really can get us there.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Todd. Thanks so much for your wisdom and for sharing on the insight on the call. And I just want to say a special thank you to all the panelists. Thank you so much for taking time to join us today. Your insights, your nuggets, valuable takeaways. We strongly believe that our audience has been spot on the call today. So we're really grateful for that. Well, thank you for all the contribution. I just want to, before we wrap up, I just want to give a quick shout out to members of our team, our program management team, as well as our marketing team. Our program management team, we have Busayo Moses and Han Olusanya. We also on the marketing team, Clement, Chris, and Erin. Thank you so much for helping make this event, bring this event to life. And of course, we want to give a shout out to the audience, the participants on the call today. Thank you so much for joining us for this very, very important topic. We won't be here without you. So thank you so much. our mission for the PM Roundtable is to create an avenue where we can, our professional community can network, share information, and present opportunity for career growth. And ultimately, our goal is to raise leaders, and we definitely hope that today's webinar has contributed to that agenda. On behalf of our team at Olade Consulting, I want to thank everybody for joining us today. I want to thank all the panelists and thank every member of our team for making this event a success. So on that note, until next time, be well, stay safe, and bye for now. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Own it, girl, you just own it. Cause your body's on fire. Show me how to control it. And go ahead, you flip and get higher. Girl, I love how you roll it. I put my hand there. Hold it, I'ma be right by you. 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 Lighters up, one time lighters up. Pulled up in the party when you saw me, I was lighting up my J. So go ahead and brighten up my day. Lighters in the air when you're lighting up the rave. And it's feeling like I met you here before. Girl, I felt your presence when they let you through the door. Never had a brother give you everything and more. So I take a little piece and then the rest of it is yours, me and more. You don't dare when I don't they tell you, but can you taste and I play? I don't know where till you they do me, we just they start out my brain. Fuck loving when I put you in your place. I can tell you love it just by looking in your face. It's the way that you wind up your waist. I'm so in awe, girl, you never have to worry about nothing. You know it's yours, you know you own it. Girl, you just own it. Cause your body's on fire. Show me how to control it. And go ahead, you step and get higher. Girl, I love how you hold it. I put my hand there. Hold it, I'ma be right by you. I'ma be right by you. I'ma be right by you. I'ma be right by you.
Lights down for the one I love right now. We never look better. Forget our friends, girl. I love it when we chill together. Ain't nobody gonna feel what we feel together. She wanna kiss, I want another one. You got a sick vibe, I want it one-on-one. Up to now, nobody knew where I was coming from, but we got the same mind, so I don't wanna waste time. Bring it to me, my mind, that's what I need. That's right, kissing your cheek one time. I used to love being alone, but now I can't stand it. Reaching on my phone for you to put your hand in, girl, you are the one, and I don't understand it. How you lighting up the room with your glow? Cause girl, you